All right, if you're an RF technician, you know that an unpredictable signal is part of the puzzle. But what happens when that interference isn't just an accident? In this explainer, we're getting into a really critical skill for anyone in the field: how to spot, track down, and, most importantly, report illegal radio jamming.
Okay, before we jump in, just a little bit of housekeeping. This is part 7 of a 20-part tutorial series, and it's all based on a fantastic report called An Introduction to Radio Jamming from the folks at RFI Detectives. We're doing this for educational reasons, to help you deal with interference. But we have to be crystal clear about this. Using radio jamming gear is illegal pretty much everywhere, and the penalties are no joke.
So here's the big question, right? When does that annoying interference you're hunting down go from being, say, a noisy appliance to a deliberate, malicious act, something that's actually a federal crime? Well, the one thing that separates the two, as you're about to see, is intent.
And that idea of intent is the perfect place to start. Let's dive into our first section, because this isn't just some abstract problem we're talking about. This is a real, growing, and illegal threat that you are more and more likely to run into out in the field.
The key word on this slide, the one I really want you to focus on, is deliberate. See, as a tech, your first job is figure out if you're dealing with accidental noise or a purposeful attack. Jamming isn't just random interference. It is a targeted act. Somebody is trying to make a communication system fail on purpose.
So why is this popping up more often? Well, back in the day, jamming took some seriously expensive and specialized equipment, but not anymore. As this quote points out, cheap, software-defined radios, we're talking under $500, mean pretty much anyone with a laptop can create some very sophisticated interference. The barrier to entry, it's basically gone.
And don't for a second think that regulators are taking this lightly. It doesn't matter if you're in the United States, the EU, or anywhere else under the ITU. The message is loud and clear. Civilian jamming is illegal, period. Just look at these penalties. We're talking massive fines, having your gear seized, and even facing jail time. For civilians, there are virtually no exceptions.
Let's just pause on that number for a moment. In the US, the FCC can hit you with fines up to $16,000. And get this, that's not a one-time penalty. That is per day, per violation. That's just how seriously they take protecting the radio spectrum.
Okay, so let's say you're out there and you found a signal you're pretty sure is jamming. The next big question is, what kind of jamming are you actually dealing with? Because there is a world of difference between some angry person with a cheap device and a full-blown military operation.
Now, for a field tech, these are the distinctions that really matter. Civilian jammers, they're usually low power, pretty unsophisticated, and very localized. The source might be in a single car or one building. Military jamming, on the other hand, is on a completely different scale. We're talking immense power over huge distances. The key is to look at the signal traits. Civilian jamming is often just crude wideband noise. Military signals, they're complex, powerful, and agile. These are the clues that'll guide your first assessment.
To hunt these signals down effectively, you've got to have the right gear. This isn't a job you can do with guesswork. It's all about showing up prepared with the essential field kit.
So here's your essential checklist. A good directional antenna, that's your #1 hunting tool. A rugged laptop with SDR software is basically your command center for doing the analysis. But you can't forget the fundamentals. Things like portable power, so you're not stuck looking for an outlet, a GPS to tag your location data, and this is a big one, RF attenuators. Trust me, if you get close to a powerful jammer, the last thing you want is to fry your own expensive receiver.
Okay, you know the theory, you've got the kit. Now, what's the actual plan when you get that call? Let's walk through the response protocol step by step.
Your field protocol really comes down to 3 critical steps. First, you hunt the signal. You use your directional antenna, you take bearings from several different spots, and you triangulate the source. Second, you document everything. I'm talking timestamps, signal measurements, photos of the scene, and especially you capture that raw IQ data. That's your evidence. And finally, you report it. Do not try to handle it yourself. Your job is to give clear, solid intelligence to the authorities, like the FCC, so they can take over.
And this right here is a really important professional line you cannot cross. Your role is to help your clients with defensive, legal countermeasures, things like frequency hopping spread spectrum, better encryption, or physical RF shielding. It is never, ever your job to start counter-jamming. Trying to fight fire with fire is illegal, and it'll land you in the exact same trouble as the person you're investigating.
And all of this brings us to the future, doesn't it? The technology to cause this kind of chaos is getting cheaper by the day.
So for those of us on the front lines defending the spectrum, the real question is this: how are our detection methods going to evolve to keep up? The next chapter in the world of interference hunting, well, it starts with you. Thanks for watching.